Hello, welcome to Beachblaster X, Wrestle Kingdom preview and prediction show. I know you're used to seeing those other two clowns on Wednesday previewing AEW, talking about AEW, but today we're going to be talking about New Japan Pro Wrestling, the best pro wrestling company in the universe. I said it, way better than AEW, and we're talking about their two-night event starting tonight, Wrestle Kingdom 15 in the Tokyo Dome. So, we've got 2 nights, January 4th in Japan time. So, probably January 3rd for those of us in America. It starts at 4 p.m. Japan time on January 4th. So, it's probably going to be late at night if you're watching it tonight in the US. Probably, I think that, I don't know for sure, but that translates to, I want to say 2 a.m. if you're on the East Coast. Anyway, go out there, check the math, figure it out. So I'm going to be talking about the matches that we've got for night 1 and 2, and then I'm going to be giving my predictions on who I think will win. And yeah, let's start it off. So one more thing. Okay, well, let's just go to here. So we've got night 1. And so our first match is actually going to be the King of Pro Wrestling match, the New Japan Rondo. And that's, I guess, sort of like the battle royal in the beginning. And they say that starts before the main card starts on January 4th. So I don't know if that's going to, what time that exactly is going to be, if that's actually going to be the 4 p.m. Japan time or if it's going to be 3 p.m. Japan time. But I would suggest if you want to check that out, get in there early. So, the New Japan Rondo, it's going to be 22 entrants, and it's a battle royal type match. Pinfall, submission, or throwing your opponent out of the ring over the top rope is elimination. And the top four, the last 4 combatants, if you will be wrestling in a 4-way on night 2 of Tokyo Dome for the first King of Pro Wrestling 2021 trophy. So the King of Pro Wrestling, I guess, championship or trophy, if you want to call it, is kind of like a title, but not really. Yeah. Okay. So let's get on to the main card. The first match, Wrestle Kingdom 15 that they've got. They announced the card, and it pretty much seems like they got the match order down. So starting off, we've got Hiromu Takahashi versus El Phantasmo. Of course, Hiromu has won the Best of the Super Juniors 2020 Cup winner, and El Phantasmo won the Super J Cup this year, the 2020 Super J Cup winner, at which he is a 2-time champion. He won also the 2019 Super J Cup. So, with that being said, it looks like I'm not saying it looks like, it is. The winner of this match is going to go on to night 2 to face Taiji Ishimori for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. So my prediction here, I think this is going to be Hiromu. Yeah, he's come back from that horrible neck injury a while back, and he's probably the most popular junior heavyweight, I would say, in New Japan. Easily the biggest star right now with Ospreay going up to heavyweight. So I would guess that Hiromu is going to win. Although I would not be surprised if El Phantasmo does pick up the win. I'm probably going to go 70-30 Hiromu. Yeah, that sounds about right. I wouldn't be surprised if El Phantasmo won, but you never know. So I'm going to go Hiromu on this one. So, match 2. We've got the IWGP Tag Championship. The champions from Suzuki-gun, Taichi, and Zack Sabre Jr. will be taking on Tamatonga and Tangaloa, the Gorillas of Destiny from Bullet Club. And they are the GOD, the Gorillas of Destiny, are the winners of the World Tag League 2020, which just wrapped up not just a little while ago. And I mean, I think I'm not too sure, but I think that God have either are tied or will tie the record for IWGP Tag Team Championships, which are currently held by, I believe, Kojima and Tenzan, a very legendary, very famous tag team. So I think that if they win it, if they win it here, they'll could be considered the best tag team in New Japan history, but I don't know. So for this one, I am gonna go with see. This is one that can go either way because the tag team championship, like in a lot of other wrestling promotions, it's not really that big of a deal. So I want to say, I'm gonna go with Suzuki Gun here. I'm gonna say that God does not tie the record yet. I think, or break the record. I'm not sure if they've already tied and will break the record if they win here, or if this win will give them a tie for the record. But I think that they're gonna, because I don't see any plans for Tama Tonga and Tangaloa to break up for a while. So I think they'll prolong it here, and they'll maybe give him maybe a little bit more down the line. They'll finally get their tie or record breaking run. But I think they're gonna hold it off here. Plus, I think Zach and Taichi are a really good team. They're really entertaining. Both despicable human beings when they're together. Taichi, of course, always with the hitting people with the mic stand, and he's got the iron claw and blah blah blah. Zack Sabre, famous for his submissions, not letting go, all that kind of thing. I would go with Zack Sabre Jr. and Taichi. Oh, anyway, going back a little bit. So, well, you know what? I'll talk about it later. Our third match. Boom. We've got Kenta versus Satoshi Kojima for the IWGP US Heavyweight Right to Challenge contract. So this is not an actual IWGP US Heavyweight title match. This is just the rights to the contract. And if for those of you not really familiar or not knowing, the IWGP US Heavyweight title is held by none other than Jon Moxley of AEW, the former AEW World Champion. And because of the world we live in, because of COVID, because of travel restrictions, travel barriers, and travel difficulties, Jon Moxley has not been able to go to Japan to defend his IWGP US Heavyweight Championship. And I don't think that, I don't know for sure, but it sounds from what I hear is that Jon Moxley has an exclusive contract with AEW in America unless he gets pre-approval from Tony Khan or whatever. So he can't actually just wrestle wherever the hell he wants, or at least in America. He can't just wrestle in America wherever he wants. So that's probably why New Japan hasn't run a show in America either recently. So who knows? They did strip Jon Moxley of his title last year, I believe, when his flight got messed up. So they had to strip him, and then that led to the Lance Archer versus Juice Robinson match. I don't think that it seems like New Japan does not want to strip Jon Moxley of the title again. So they are having in place of this, they're having this match. So a lot of people are speculating that Jon Moxley is in fact gonna be in Tokyo, be in Japan, and make a surprise appearance. But for a lot of reasons, that doesn't make sense. First of all, he's already advertised for this coming Wednesday at AEW Dynamite, which would mean he could make it, especially if if he shows up on night one, he could fly back to America and make it to Florida, Daly's place, with lots of time remaining. However, I don't know about Japan quarantine rules right now, and I don't know about coming back into the US quarantine rules. I had no plans to travel, so I'm not really up to date on what the travel bans and restrictions are and all that kind of stuff. So that's pretty much, I'm pretty sure that I would pretty much bet like 99.999999% that Jon Moxley is not going to be on Wrestle Kingdom night 1 or 2. He's just gonna be. He has a pregnant wife at home, so I don't think he wants to leave her during her pregnancy to go off to Japan for however many long. I don't know if he has to go to Japan and then quarantine and then come back to America and then quarantine for 2 weeks. I don't know how it works, but I'm pretty sure that he's not good. So that being said, the match itself, Kenta versus Satoshi Kojima. So this was actually supposed to be Kenta versus Juice Robinson. They had a lots of feud and storyline going up into this match, but unfortunately for Juice Robinson, he broke his orbital bone, I believe, I want to say the finals, or maybe on a show leading up to or right after the World Tag League finals. So he had to pull out of the match due to injury. So they threw in Satoshi Kojima there. This will probably be a better match than if it was Kenta versus Juice Robinson. Kojima, even though he's in the later years of his career, he's not as he's past his prime, so to say. He's part of the New Japan Dads group, but he can still go. He's still very good. At one time in his prime, he probably was considered one of, if not the best wrestler, best heavyweight around. Probably not, because he was around when Misawa and Kobashi and all those guys were around. So he probably wasn't considered number one, but he was up there. He was definitely up there. He was great in his prime, and he's still better than average, better than most, I would say. So this could be a good match. Kenta, I guess ever since that shoulder injury back when he was in NXT, he hasn't been quite the same. He's lost a little bit, I think, but he's still good. He's still Kenta. Every once in a while we see flashes of the old Kenta, who actually was my favorite wrestler back in the day when he was in Noah, when he was teaming and wrestling Marufuji. Kenta was the best. I mean, pretty much all of Daniel Bryan and CM Punk's moveset is based off of him. So, yeah, Kenta's great. I'm pretty sure Kenta's gonna win here. This one seems like one of I don't know if it's a lock, but I would be surprised if Kojima wins this one. Just because Kenta and Moxley seems like a much bigger match at this point. And Kenta has actually been tweeting Renee Young, the former Renee Young of WWE, Jon Moxley's wife. He's been tweeting her, talking about, hey, when you're going to send your husband here? How long do I have to defend this briefcase? Just give me the title, blah, blah, blah. Moxley's not showing up. So I think they're going to stick with Kenta on this one. If it was Juice Robinson, I would have probably picked Juice Robinson, just because I think Juice Robinson and Jon Moxley is not a bigger match and definitely won't be a better match than if Kenta was in there. But I think there's a little bit of history. They have not Kenta, but Juice Robinson and Moxley have backstory. They knew each other for a long time and all that stuff. But yeah, here, Kenta, this is one of the bigger locks, I guess, of either nights. Kenta would be a very, very strong, solid pick for me on this one. And then we go to match 4, which is none other, the dream match itself. Sarcasm. Hiroshi Tanahashi, the ace, taking on the great Okon. And it's like, what the hell did Tanahashi do to be put in this match? Like, what did he do? I know that if you follow New Japan, Tanahashi has pretty much been treated very poorly this past year. After 2 years ago, he won the G1. He beat Kenny Omega in the Tokyo Dome when Kenny Omega was leaving New Japan Wrestling, and then ever since then, Tanahashi's been treated pretty damn poorly. But this year, especially, he's been done pretty poorly. He's been beaten up. He's been submitted. He's been jobbed out. I think this is their indication that Tanahashi is no longer the main event Tanahashi, and he's about starting his journey into the New Japan Dad's territory, where he's there for nostalgia, but he's probably not going to be a serious title contender. So here he is up against the Great Okon, and Great Okon was Oka before. He was a young lion. I don't really know where he went to excursion, but he came back as the Great Okon, joining Will Ospreay's The Empire faction. Yeah, so I want to say this is not really Oka's fault. They stuck him with this stupid Great Okon gimmick. I don't get it. I don't know how well it's gone over in Japan, if the Japanese fans like it or not, but I can tell you from what I know and from what I read about from us American fans, this is just not working, and he hasn't really produced well character-wise or in-ring wise, this Great Okon. So I'm going to go with Tanahashi here, just because I think the fans will be really pissed off, as well as everybody is going to be pissed off if this Great Okon wins. So I think that with the Great Okon, they really need to just repackage him as something better. This Great Okon gimmick is awful, to say the least. I don't even know how to put it, but yeah, it's terrible. Great Okon is terrible. Tanahashi is a legend. He should get the win. I don't know, considering how they've treated Tanahashi in the past year, it's not out of the question that he would lose to the Great Okon, but I don't see New Japan giving us a screw job FU ending here. I think Tanahashi will win it, because up next, easily my prediction for the best match of the two nights. I think this will be the best match of the two nights. Kazuchika Okada, the greatest wrestler of all time, my current favorite wrestler. But I do think he's going to lose here. It's noted here that their singles record so far has been 4-1 Okada, and Ospreay's 1 is in the G1 this year when he beat Okada, and he betrayed Okada. He left Chaos and made his new The Empire faction, and this is where Okon made his big return to New Japan and beat up and help Ospreay beat Okada in the G1. So I'm thinking this is gonna, like I said before, I'm thinking this is gonna be the best match of either night. And unfortunately, for my fandom, for my fanboyism, I think Ospreay is gonna take this. I think even though like Okada, I guess he technically lost it last year. He lost 2 years ago to Jay White in the Tokyo Dome, and he lost last year on night 2 to Naito. And so, man, are they gonna make Okada lose 3 years in a row? I think they are. I think they will, because Will Ospreay is gonna jump up into the main event heel side of New Japan in this coming year, and he's gonna be a big player. Although everybody knows that Will Ospreay is and will be the best wrestler in the world, sans Okada. But yeah, so I think Will Ospreay will take it here. He's gonna up his status, so to say, up his standing in New Japan. He's gonna be one of, if the not top heel bad guy, so to say, for 2021, and for a while, until the fans start loving him, and he'll go back to being a good guy and a fan favorite. So yeah, especially because Okada's 4-1. Yeah, they'll give Ospreay his second win over Okada, and I do predict that this will be relatively clean. I don't think Okon or Cobb, or maybe they could have a new member of the Empire show up. Maybe somebody from Chaos actually turn on Okada and join the Empire. That would be pretty interesting, pretty pretty newsworthy. Although I think if they did that, they would probably save that for New Year's Dash, which is gonna be on January 6th, Japan time. So Ospreay here. Of course, I would love it if Okada wins because he would win all the matches. Best. But I'm gonna go with Ospreay here. So our main event for night 1 going to be for the IWGP Heavyweight and IWGP Intercontinental Championship. The champion Tetsuya Naito versus Kota Ibushi. Kota Ibushi won the G1 Climax tournament this year, and he won it the year 2019 too. So he's a back-to-back G1 Climax winner. Although he did lose the contract briefcase to Jay White, which we'll talk about soon enough, but Kota Ibushi lost it, but then Naito, I guess, felt sorry for him and was like, you kind of won the tournament. So even though, Jay White, of course, cheated, screwed him over. So Naito just like, you know what, I'll wrestle you anyway. I mean, we got to fill out 2 nights anyway. So I'm gonna wrestle you on night 1 anyway. So this is for both the heavyweight and intercontinental championships. I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know why they. I guess eventually they'll either split it up or merge it, or they'll just have it. I guess, I mean, they always could just leave it as 2 belts for the rest of time. I don't know. But so my prediction here, I mean, you can think about it 2 ways. Naito in interviews has been saying, he really wants in his career, he really wants to do the accomplishment of winning in the main event at the Tokyo Dome and celebrating at the end of Wrestle Kingdom, because last year when he did finally beat Okada and won both belts and was celebrating, he didn't actually really get to celebrate because Kenta came in and messed him up, which was very weird and upsetting. And I think a lot of the fans in attendance and a lot of the fans watching at home were not okay with that at all, about Naito not getting his big victory at the Tokyo Dome, which, if you follow Naito's career, he had that one, I don't know how long ago, but it's been a while, maybe like, I want to say like 5, 6, maybe even more. He had the IWGP Heavyweight Championship match against Okada in the Tokyo Dome, but because the fans rejected him, they actually did a voting poll on New Japan, and it ended up being Tanahashi versus Shinsuke Nakamura as the actual last match, main event of the Tokyo Dome. So he's had a history of not, the fans rejected him. That's when he went back to Mexico. He came back as the leader of LIJ, Los Ingobernables de Japan. I guess he won the fans' approval back, and now he's the main eventer that he was supposed to be all those years ago. And he won last year at the Tokyo Dome, but he never got to do his celebration. So he wants to do his celebration now, which would be a little bit lackluster because the limited attendance and because of COVID. I think they're not going to have a full Tokyo Dome. I don't know what the attendance is going to be at all, but yeah. So that's the story for Naito. The story of Ibushi, it's a lifelong dream to be the IWGP Heavyweight Champion. He has never won it. He has won the Intercontinental Championship, but he's never won the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. He won the G1 Climax in 2019 and failed to win. He lost to Okada last year in night 1 of Wrestle Kingdom. So here it's like, when is he going to finally win it? And with Japanese storylines, it can take a long time. Like, there was that big thing of Okada actually not being able to beat Tanahashi at the Tokyo Dome. So he won the championship. He beat everybody else. He even beat Tanahashi in other events, but he could never beat Tanahashi in the Tokyo Dome, and that was like one of the big storylines. So when he finally did win it, it was like a big deal, and it took him years and years to do it. So, I mean, even though Kota Ibushi, I guess they could give it to him now, and I think they will. My prediction actually will be that Ibushi wins it here. I would not be surprised if he does not win and it prolongs Ibushi's big IWGP heavyweight win. I could be wrong. Of course, Naito could always win, but I think they'll just give it to Ibushi, and this will be his year. I think this will be the year of Ibushi, because why not? Like, I mean, they're all not getting younger. Like, what are they waiting for? Of course, they could always go with Naito, but this one is actually really hard too. But I'm gonna go with Ibushi. I think, yeah, I'm gonna go Ibushi here. So that's the end of night 1, and then night 2 will be at 5 p.m. Japan time on January 5th. So an hour later. So let's get into night 2 here. So first match, as we said before, will be the 4 winners, so to speak, the 4 last people in the ring for night 1 of that New Japan Rondo will be in a 4-way match, and the winner will be the Shingo Pro Wrestling 2021 first champion. Yes. They don't announce how the 4, if it's going to be like an elimination match or if it's just going to be like first person to get a pinfall. I have no idea. They don't mention here. So a couple of predictions. Who could it be? Well, we don't have Minoru Suzuki in any matchup, any announced matchup anyway. It always could be him. I expect Yano to be one of the top 4 because Yano is the ace. You know, Toru Yano, very, very entertaining wrestler. If you're not everyone's cup of tea, but definitely my cup of tea. I enjoy watching him. So I think it could be a lot of Chaos members. Yano's not in any matches. Goto is not in any matches. Ishii is not in any matches. Sho and Yo are not in any matches. I think it's Sho, or is it Yo? No, I think it's Yo who's injured. So all of them could be one. There's not really too much else. So all of Lij are in matches except for Bushi. I'm pretty sure he'll be in the Battle Royal, but I don't see him as one of the 4 finalists. So, and then I don't know, Suzuki-gun. I think pretty much everybody's accounted for. Bullet Club as well. I guess maybe like Bad Luck Fale or Yujiro Takahashi, but I don't see. I definitely don't see Yujiro being in the top 4. Maybe Fale. My prediction here is probably Yano or Goto would be my prediction for the eventual final winner of the top 4. In the top 4 and the actual winner of the King of Pro Wrestling 2021 Trophy Championship, whatever they want to call it. I would go either Yano and Goto, but I mean, you never know. It could be really cool if they had like a surprise entrant. I wouldn't know who that would be, but never know. So on to match 2. We've got the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship. The champions from Suzuki-gun, El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru against Ryusuke Taguchi and Master Wato. Okay. So looks like it says here Master Wato was able to pin both El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru in singles and tag competition in recent weeks. And he beat okay, never mind, that's about Taguchi. So I feel like Wato, he was his name is Kawato. I don't know I forgot his first name, but I think his last name is Kawato. And he was a young lion. He was spectacular as a young lion, and he went to Mexico. I don't know what happened in Mexico, but he came back with blue hair, and now he's Master Wato, and it's kind of fallen flat a little for me. I don't think he's been spectacular. as Master Wato. I actually thought he was way better as a young lion. So I don't know here. Like, on one hand, they do change the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team belts quite a lot. Um, Whenever the hell they feel like it, they just change the damn title. So I wouldn't be surprised if Taguchi and Wato take this one, but I am gonna predict that Desperado and Kanemaru take this because there's, like I said, Taguchi is kind of like, he's very good. He's actually very, very good, but he's a comedy wrestler now, and they treat him like a comedy wrestler and they don't treat him seriously. And Master Wato's, I think he's another guy that could kind of use a repackage. I'm not really sold on this Master Wato gimmick. But yeah, I see no reason why Desperado and Kanemaru should lose this one. Probably get the pinfall on Taguchi or something. And yeah, I'm not really sure why this is on night 2, other than I guess they just decided it. So I'm going to go Suzuki-gun. They retain. Not much else to say about that one. So this next match, Shingo Takagi versus Jeff Cobb for the Never Openweight Championship. This has the potential to be the best match of either night. I know I'm predicting Okada versus Ospreay, but this bad boy right here very much could be the match of either night. And it could be the match of the year, in fact. Takagi is easily top 5 in-ring wrestler, I would say. Cobb is great too, obviously. Cobb has joined Ospreay's Empire faction. And so I'm going to go with Shingo Takagi, and here's why. Jeff Cobb has beaten him in the World Tag League and the G1. His pin Shingo Takagi in both the World Tag League and this G1. So I think Takagi will get his win back and keep the Never Openweight Championship. I'm pretty solid on this pick. I don't think they will make him lose twice to Jeff Cobb and then lose again and have him go 0-3. They, of all people make fun of the 50-50 booking, but New Japan does that quite a bit too. If you look at the grand scheme of things, they do a lot of 50-50 booking as well. So I'm going to go with Shingo Takagi on this one. I would have, what would have been great, although New Japan doesn't really do this often, but a 3-way between Takagi, Cobb, and Suzuki would have been spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. But I'm going to go Takagi here. I don't think there's much else to say about this one other than I'm going to guess that this is going to be, I don't think it'll beat Okada and Ospreay, but I think it'll be close. I think this is probably going to be the second best match, but it could very well end up being the best match of either night. But yeah, this one is going to be no doubt something to go out of your way to watch. Then next up, in our fourth match of night 2, we've got Sonata versus Evil. So it says their singles record here are 2-2, and the story here is Evil, of course, betrayed LIJ, that punk bastard. And then now, so Sonata is his former tag team partner. Now they're on opposite sides of the fence. Sonata sticking with LIJ and Evil with Bullet Club. So Evil has been antagonizing Sonata, and Sonata is usually the cool, laid back, doesn't really let his emotions get the best of him. But lately, Evil and Dick Togo have been pushing his buttons, and Sonata did. It says here on December 22nd, Sonata delivered Evil's own finishing move to his former friend for refusing to let go of Skull End after the bell. So looks like Sonata is showing some fire, showing some anger, some emotion that he hasn't shown before. This one is really hard to predict. I mean, they gave Evil that whole... They had Evil beat Naito for both belts last year for no apparent reason. That was pretty much the shock of the year for me. And then Sonata. So everybody says, I have no idea if this is true or not, but everybody says that the reason why New Japan doesn't go all the way with Sonata is because he has not signed an exclusive New Japan deal. He's just a freelancer for New Japan. So this is why they're never going to go with him. But Sonata was a G1 Climax finalist against Ibushi this year. I'm going to go with... Damn, this one is tough. I'm going to go with Evil just because this match is going to suck. This match is going to be really good for the first 85% of the match, and then the last 15% is just going to be a bunch of stupid ass interference with Dick Togo and who knows who else, maybe somebody else from Bullet Club, maybe Bushi, if he actually isn't in the New Japan Rondo, get him an appearance on Wrestle Kingdom. There's going to be a ton of interference. It's going to be annoying. Like all Evil matches are annoying, and then either Evil is going to hit a low blow and then not Darkness Falls, but everything is Evil and get the win, or Sonata is going to block the low blow, beat him up, and hit the rounding body prince and win. But I'm going to go Evil, and I'll tell you why in a little bit, but I'm going to go Evil on this one after a bunch of interference and a bunch of crap that we probably didn't really care about. So, up next in our semi-main event, we've got Taiji Ishimori versus X. Me? No. He's going to be taking on the winner of Hiromu Takahashi and El Phantasmo from night 1. So my prediction, of course, was Hiromu Takahashi, and if Hiromu does get to night 2, I'm going to predict that he takes it over Taiji Ishimori. It looks like their singles records is Ishimori over Hiromu 2-1, and Ishimori versus El Phantasmo is NA. So yeah. I highly doubt. Yeah, since Ishimori and El Phantasmo have never been in the ring together, I'm really doubting that they'll go this way now. So my prediction of Hiromu has just gone up quite a bit. So my prediction is Hiromu is going to win here. I predict that if it is in fact El Phantasmo, he will not win and Ishimori will retain. But the bigger match, of course, seems to be Ishimori versus Hiromu. Takahashi, they've had a lot of history, a big rivalry. Ishimori has up 2-1 on him. So I think it's going to be... Yeah, I think Hiromu is going to win. So it's going to be Hiromu or it's going to be Ishimori if El Phantasmo takes it. And this also has if it's Ishimori and Hiromu, I think it'll probably be the third. It's going to be Okada, Ospreay, Jeff Cobb, and Takagi, and then this match will probably be third. If it is Ishimori versus Hiromu Takahashi, I think it'll be the third best match of either night. Yeah. I'm kind of discounting Naito and Ibushi a little bit because I've seen that match so many times now. So I don't know what else new I can see. A lot of times I'm like a lot of people who are not too thrilled with Ibushi and Naito matches because it looks like somebody's gonna break their neck or worse in their matches. It looks really bad, and I don't like seeing that. I don't like seeing people about to get paralyzed or hurt in any real form. So yeah, I'm not really a fan of the Naito Ibushi matches. That being said, our main event here is gonna be X versus Jay White. So X being the winner of night 1, Naito versus Ibushi. Whoever wins night 1 has to take on Jay White because Jay White has beaten Ibushi for the contract briefcase. So now he is the holder of, I guess he's technically he's the cashing in the G1 briefcase here at Wrestle Kingdom, and he's taking on X. So I think it's gonna be Ibushi versus Jay White because let's see. So White versus Naito, it's 2-1 White, and White versus Ibushi, it's 3-1 White. So Jay White has winning records against Naito and Ibushi. I think he's tied with Okada, and I believe he's up on Tanahashi. So Jay White is the man. Jay White is the king dealer. Yeah. So yeah, I think either way Jay White will lose. I think Naito or Ibushi will beat him simply because I don't think they'll send people home with a bad taste in their mouths and an unhappy ending to Wrestle Kingdom Night 2. You know, Jay White is Bullet Club leader. He's the bad guy. I don't think he's a foreigner too in Japan. So I don't think that Jay White's coming out of this either way. Would I be surprised if he does? A little, but not too much. So I think, so my prediction is going to be it's Ibushi. Yeah, I think Ibushi will beat Jay White for Night 2 and finally get his big moment in New Japan where he's finally the guy in New Japan and then Okada can beat his ass. Anyway, yeah. I really like Jay White, but unfortunately for him, I think he's doomed. I think he's gonna lose either way. And so mentioning what I mentioned before about the Evil thing. So this would be interesting if Evil beats Sonata and then Jay White loses, and then they'll have another Bullet Club civil war, so to speak, with Evil, being like, well, I should be the leader because you suck. You had the briefcase. You lost. I beat Sonata. I'm the baddest ass in Bullet Club. Blah blah blah. So I think that would be an interesting storyline for them to go that way with Evil and Jay White fighting over leadership of the Bullet Club. I think. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say the Bullet Club. Jay White and Evil fighting each other over leadership of Bullet Club. How I should have said it. So my apologies. But yeah, I think for Jay White, he's not gonna win it. Jay White is very young. He's got many, many, many years to go in New Japan. I'm sure he'll get his big Tokyo Dome moment someday. I don't think it'll be in the next 2 days though. So I think Ibushi or Naito is gonna take it. My prediction is Ibushi, but we'll see. So that's all of the Wrestle Kingdom matches that we've got. And that is going to be it for me. Just a quick recap. Hiromu versus Phantasmo. I'm going to go Hiromu. Zack and Taichi versus God. I'm pretty sure I went Zack and Taichi. Kenta versus Kojima. I went Kenta. Tana versus Okon. I went Tanahashi. Okada versus Ospreay. I went Ospreay over Okada. And Naito versus Ibushi. I went Ibushi. And then on night 2, the King of Pro Wrestling, my prediction is Yano, probably Yano. The junior tag, I went Suzuki Gun, El Desperado, and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. The Never Openweight Championship, I went Shingo, Takagi over Jeff Cobb. And then I went Evil over Sonata. And then I went Hiromu Takahashi over Taiji Ishimori. Or if it's El Phantasmo versus Taiji Ishimori, I am picking Taiji Ishimori. And then Jay White versus X, Naito and Ibushi. Either one will beat Jay White. But my prediction is going to be Ibushi. So yeah, that's it for me. That's my preview show. We'll see how it turns out. Maybe I'll look like a real dumbass when everything's said and done. But anyway, thanks for watching. Check out Wrestle Kingdom tonight and tomorrow. New Japan Wrestling. New Japan Pro NJPWWorld.com. You can check them out there. You can stream it. It's cheap. It's like $9.99 yen, which is a little bit under $10, but yeah. And then you get it for the whole month, and you can watch all the great matches of New Japan Pro Wrestling, the best pro wrestling organization in the entire world. Until then, enjoy those two clowns on Wednesday back for AEW Dynamite talking about, oh yeah, that was so good. It was so good. AEW Dynamite. But yeah, I'll be back. Maybe sooner than later. I'm Beachblaster X. Thank you for watching.